Hello, everyone. We are live. Drop me in the comment section below and tell me where you're from. So today's topic is on how I attract billionaires with my self-concept. And one thing is that I don't go out specifically to look for them. They look for me because I attract them into my magnetic field with my self-concept. So what is self-concept? I did a Google search on the word self-concept and no one has really explained it the way it's supposed to be, okay? So this is how I'll explain self-concept in my terms. Self-concept is the way that you think and you see yourself. And because we all have an electromagnetic field around us, whether you can see it or you can't see it, well, some people, they can actually see it, but it could go as far as, say, 1 meter to even like 5 to 10 meters, right? And so your self-concept is going to send a signal into your electromagnetic field, which then sends a signal out to the quantum field. And that quantum field will actually rearrange the 3D reality to make the right people appear at the right time for you to be at the right place to meet them. And that is how, in a nutshell, you actually attract billionaires or ultra high net worth individuals into your field. People talk a lot about self-concept. They only talk about it from a belief system point of view, but actually, the truth is that the physical world always conforms to the non-physical world or the energetic world. So the 3D physical world will always follow the 5D energetic world, and your self-concept belongs to the 5D energetic world. And so it always starts with the energy world first, before the physical world follows to conform. And you know, a lot of society or mass society misconception is that they got the cart before the horse, where they think that it's always about doing more, it's always about touching your 3D, and then only then the energy follows. Well, no, the truth is that it's energy first and then the physical reality follows. So it's your self-concept first, it's your energetic identity first, and then your physical reality follows. And that is how you collapse time and space to rearrange circumstances and people so that you're able to meet them when your energy is aligned to their frequency. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about, well, obviously, today's topic, because it's about self-concept. Okay, we go deeper into this in my course, the Ultra High Net Worth Dealmaker. It's inner work, it's fun, it's exciting, it's light. It's not like, oh, some hard work. No, it's actually really fun because you get to see results really fast. So it's light and fun when you actually make some self-concept shifts and you see how your 3D reality moves around you. So an example of a self-concept could also be like, for example, if I have a self-concept that I am a fit person, right? Then naturally, I'm not going to think about eating healthy foods. I'm not going to be thinking about eating junk food. Or naturally, I'll be repulsed by it. And also, I will also naturally, this self-concept will naturally channel actions that are aligned to that energy that comes very natural to you, that you don't have to like do it or like hustle, like out of discipline. For example, if I have the self-concept of a fit person, I'm naturally going to go to the gym 3 times a week, and it will be very aligned to my authentic energy, and I'm going to like it, I'm going to enjoy it. I don't feel like it's a chore because that is part of my identity and that's part of my self-concept, right? But then if your self-concept or your energy is not aligned to one of a fit person, using a fit person as an example, then you are going to feel that you are moving mountains to eat healthy or go to the gym. And it doesn't come naturally to you because you're not tapping or tuning in and wearing on that self-concept, so that when you tap on that energy, the energy flows and the actions come very effortlessly, and it comes like it's second nature. It's like a habit, and you don't feel like you're going out of the way to do things. So that is how I would explain self-concept in terms of your thoughts, the way you see yourself and others, and also how you make decisions would be very different from someone with a completely different self-concept. How you speak and how you act, right? And ultimately the actions, the aligned actions that you take, that is in line with the self-concept that you have, that comes naturally. Okay, so that's how I explain self-concept. And also, do you know that the fastest way to actually change your self-concept, it's actually your environment, because you are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with, and their self-concept is going to bleed into yours. Okay, I'll repeat this. The average of the 5 people, or the 5 people that you are the closest with, their self-concept is going to bleed into yours. It's called frequency entrainment. So imagine like 2 tuning forks. Well, I don't really have 2 tuning forks here, but let's just use my crystals. So, okay, so I have a selenite crystal here, and I have a lapis lazuli, right? Okay, so 2 tuning forks, so frequency entrainment. So for example, let's say this selenite has a higher frequency and is vibrating at a higher vibration, and this lapis lazuli has a lower vibration. So imagine that this is you, you're vibrating at a higher vibration, and you go into an environment that's of a lower vibration. So automatically, this is going to vibrate and come down to this at the same frequency. So that's frequency entrainment. So it's very difficult for someone to actually be the anomaly out of the environment they're in because of frequency entrainment. So if your environment is vibrating at this level and you're trying to be at this level, it's very difficult for you to like sort of like outperform the environment from a frequency point of view. And that is why if you want to vibrate at this level, you have to go to an environment that's already this level. Because even if you're here, the environment here is going to pull you up to this frequency and this self-concept, where your thoughts and your actions and your decisions are going to very much align with the self-concept of this environment, right? So that is self-concept, because the self-concept of your environment that you're in, they're going to affect your thoughts, and they're also going to affect like your, just the way you feel about things, your emotions. It's going to affect your habits, it's going to affect your decisions, and it's going to affect your actions. So if you want to do things that come very naturally to an environment over here, then you have to change your environment so that you can naturally have the same thoughts, the same self-concept, the same actions, same habits, same decisions as here. It's very hard when you're in a lower environment, lower vibrational environment, and you're trying to, you know, vibrate out of it, trying to be in a different level, right? And because their thoughts, the way they think what's the thoughts here, the way they think of what's right and wrong, is going to bring your thoughts and your self-concept down to this level. So the fastest way to actually change your self-concept is your environment, the people that you surround yourself with, and the environment in terms of the city and the country, because every city and every country has its own collective paradigm. And paradigm is in a way of like collective thoughts, right? So thoughts have energy, and when you do it like in a mass thoughts, that's like a lot of energy, especially when they have the same kind of belief system. So that's a collective paradigm. And it's very hard when one person has a completely separate or different kind of self-concept they want that is an anomaly from the collective paradigm of a city, of a country. So the best way is just to completely change your environment, to move cities or to move countries if you feel that that place does not support the self-concept of where you want to be. So, okay, so I've talked about self-concept now. And we go way deeper into this. Like, I'm just scratching the surface here, but we go way deeper into this in ultra high net worth Dealmaker. Okay, so now for the context of using self-concept to attract billionaires, because, for example, you want to make millions, you want to be attracting ultra high net worth opportunities to you, you want to attract events, or you want to attract the right circumstances to put you in ultra high net worth rooms where these billionaires and centimillionaires are. And so that is where self-concept comes in, because there are a few shifts, or rather there are a few self-concept shifts that, or self-concept energy that you have to tap into in order to attract this kind of people or circumstances. So the first shift is, do not pedestalize billionaires, okay? The moment you do that, I'm just going to say billionaires, but okay, you can apply that to centimillionaires or whichever is applicable to you. But in this video, I'm just going to use the term billionaires. So do not pedestalize billionaires, because once you do that, you're giving away your power. So when you give away your power, you're chasing and you're not attracting, firstly. And people can sense that. People can sense the neediness. And people can sense that your power is not within you because you already outsource your power to someone else. And that is the first thing. And then you start over-explaining, you start fawning, you start agreeing with everything, you start being a yes person, and you start trying to prove things that are so unnecessary. And that is not magnetic, that is needy. And people can sense that. So do not pedestalize billionaires or ultra high net worth individuals, but actually feel that you are on the same level as them. And yes, you respect them. Yes, you appreciate their success, but you also belong there, and you are just as valuable as they are. You're not below them and you're not above them. So that is the first self-concept shift, is that you belong there and you respect them, and guess what? They respect you too, because when we see the power and worth in ourselves, then people are going to see that in us too. So that is actually how you get on the same level as ultra high net worth individuals in order to attract them into your magnetic field. And the next one is, the second self-concept shift is, your thoughts or your belief system is that you have to normalize millions. So most people say that they want millions, but do they actually subconsciously really believe it? Like, and even if they do, does their self-concept actually is expanded enough to hold that belief and to actually hold it in the 3D physical world? So we also do a lot of like expanding of this self-concept and nervous system regulation in ultra high net worth Dealmaker, where we expand that container so that you're able to hold it in reality when it comes to normalizing millions and making millions. Because some people, they get millions, but they spend it really fast somehow. Because, so some people, they get millions. Sorry, I just having a call right now, but I'm just gonna put it on voicemail. Okay, so some people, they spend, yeah, they make millions, but they don't have the self-concept or the nervous system in order to hold those millions. So they spend it really fast subconsciously because their bodies don't feel safe to hold that millions. And I know it sounds really ironic that why don't you feel safe to hold millions? Yes, because some people have this subconscious fear or this resistance in their field that block these millions from coming in, because they have this subconscious fear that, oh, if they have more millions, then their nervous system is not able to, for example, they are not able to hold that responsibility to manage that amount of money, right? They're not comfortable handling that amount of money. They're not comfortable to distribute that amount of money to different investments, for example, or to transfer across different countries, for example, right? It takes a certain level of self-concept and nervous system regulation in order to not just hold the amount of money, but to make decisions and to make actions on that money without even blinking an eye. Like, it's so normal, right? It's just like how you're drinking water. And that's the level that you want to get to, that is your norm. Because those will be the norm of the people who are billionaires and centimillionaires who will be surrounding you. So you have to feel like that's a norm, because if you don't feel that that's a norm, then they're going to sense it and they're going to know that you actually don't belong there. And if you want to belong there, you have to start from the self-concept that is the norm. So yeah, and of course, like, you know, conversation-wise, talking about hundreds of millions of billions is very normal. You have to normalize that, and you can't get nervous around that. Talking to billionaire buyers is normal as well. And handling all this $1 million or $1 billion off-market assets and closing transactions like that, it's very normal as well. So the third self-concept shift is that, very similar to the first one, an expansion of it actually, is that I am not chasing, but I am selecting. So I am the prize, I am the one selecting, I am the gatekeeper here. I choose who I give access to my network, to my billionaires, to my centimillionaires. I don't chase any sellers. I don't chase any billionaire buyers. I'm not going to chase any sellers who own some $1 billion property or some $20 million car. I am the one selecting who, be it the seller or the buyer, gets access to my network to get a deal match and to close a deal. So if I have a billionaire buyer, I'm not going to run after that billionaire buyer. No, that billionaire buyer finds me, and I decide whether I want to give access to that person, whether that person can be trusted, just because, you know, that person is a billionaire. Like, again, it goes back to the first point, is that you can't be enamored, because just because you're a billionaire doesn't mean that I want to work with you, right? So there's a self-concept level that you have to get to, that not every billionaire you have to be like putting them on the pedestal. No, you can choose to say no anytime. And you get to choose whether you want to give that buyer, that billionaire buyer or centimillionaire buyer, access your network to buy an off-market asset that maybe a seller somewhere in your network has. Or it doesn't even have to be your network, right? Because it can take 1, 2, 3 degree contact to get there. But ultimately, yes, to get access to there, it's like kind of like playing chess in a spider web of network, where you need to know where to move the chess piece, because you need to know where the gaps are, and you are the bridge to those gaps. So your first degree contact, A is going to open the door to B, B is going to open the door to C. So even though you originally don't know C, but if you just tell A that, hey, I'm looking for this, I have someone looking for this, A is going to find B, B is going to find C, right? So and then that is how you actually decide whether do you want to actually give the access to C to that billionaire buyer. Because back to my point is that I am always the one selecting. I am the gatekeeper. My self-concept is that I am the queen of access. So your self-concept can be I'm the queen of access. I am the prize. I'm not chasing the billionaire buyers or sellers. I'm the one selecting. Do I want to give access of this seller to this buyer, or do I want to actually give access to this buyer to this seller? Hey, let me do my due diligence on this seller first. Like, you say that you have this 5-star hotel. Great. I'm going to check, like, is this 5-star hotel ready for sale? Is it a real deal? Okay, if it's a real deal and I've done my due diligence with my team, You could do it yourself, which I'll go very much into my course on how you actually weed out real and fake deals. Is that once you know that it's real, and then again, you get to choose. Do I want to give you access to the buyers in my network? Are you credible? Are you trustworthy? Because I'm putting my name on it, right? Whether you're the seller or the buyer, like, people don't want to introduce people that can't be trusted. And trust is the currency of actually almost everything. Trust is the currency of the network. So, and also, as I was talking about playing chess in this spider web of network where you are connecting the gaps. And then I spoke about A connecting to B and B connecting to C. One way how you can actually gain power is that, let's say you have a billionaire buyer and you know that C is the seller, right, of, say, like the 5-star hotel. I'm just going to talk about 5-star hotel because recently I've been doing a lot of deals on that. So let's say you know that C is the seller of, like, say, a 5-star hotel on the French Riviera, right? And you know that that person knows the owner or the family that owns that hotel, for example, right? The so-and-so family that owns this 5-star hotel. And so how you can actually gain power here in order to be the price is that you can actually tell that buyer that I don't, and it has to be real, by the way. It's not like you can just lie. Is that, yes, I will send in your buy request that you're interested, but I also have other buyers, and it has to be real, that I also have, like, other buyers that want this hotel that he has, right? And so that is how you actually become the gatekeeper, because now you're actually selecting the buyer. They don't select you and they don't choose you, but you choose them, right? And vice versa on the flip side, if C is the buyer in your network and you have, like, someone out there that comes to you and says that he wants to sell something, let's just say that I've been, like, talking about so many different asset classes. Let's just say that this person comes to you and this person wants to sell this $20 million Ferrari, for example, okay? And then you would be like, yeah, like, sure, actually I have a lot of buyers in my network who want to buy Ferrari right now, and yes, I will send over after I've done my due diligence. I'm going to send it over to the buyer, but also many other sellers. So you also get to choose which seller you want to give access into your network of buyers, or which you also get to choose which buyer you want to give access into the seller of your network, because you always have many options. And that is when you become the gatekeeper of access, when you have so many options. So the next self-concept shift is that I know my value without forcing it. So I've actually wrote this down. Somehow, subconsciously, you must have this thought that you know your value without having to prove it. And when you know your inherent value, then people are going to see it and people are going to recognize it. And you have to start with the belief that you are always connected. This is of everything, whether that person is a buyer or seller. And that is how you actually, once you have trust, actually, especially in the off-market access where everything goes by connections, it's really going by trust and reputation. So sometimes people, like, because of your name, like, they know who you are, like, okay, they know that I'm Vanessa Ho, so they know that whoever that introduced them has to be trustworthy, right? And you have to get to that level that people actually trust you, that whatever you present to them, it's real and you've done your due diligence, and that person that you're going to connect them to is trustworthy, and that because they trust you, so they can trust the person that you introduce them to. So that is on I know my value without forcing it, that self-concept shift. That's the 5th point that I have. Obviously, I have so much more to talk about, but I can only talk about so much in one video. And so now the 6th self-concept shift is that I let wealth feel safe, okay? So I spoke about this, having this subconscious fear, this block or this resistance in your energetic field, where the moment you just have one limiting belief about holding wealth that you don't think is safe subconsciously, you're going to close that field, the energetic field. And we want to keep our energetic field squeaky clean and open so that we are able to receive wealth and opportunities and people effortlessly. Okay, so that is why it's so important to tap into that self-concept, because when you tap into that self-concept, you're actually going to notice your limiting beliefs that just kind of just pops up. And when you notice your limiting beliefs that comes up really fast, it's like a ping, like a message when someone sends you a message, just that it just channels through your mind. And then you're able to get rid of that limiting belief and keep your field clean. And I also talk about how to get rid of those limiting beliefs in my course. So, so the sixth shift is that I let wealth feel safe. Okay. So, you have to become that person that holds the frequency of that wealth is your norm. And also, I have so much self-concept stuff to talk about wealth. Okay, it's gonna be a whole module in my course. But firstly, wealth is not just about money. It's also about time, and it's also about health. So 3 different currencies together. Because what is the point if you have so much wealth but you don't have the time to spend it? And what's the point if you're always hustling? Then that is not the frequency of wealth. Wealth is the frequency that you have an abundance of time and money and good health in order to enjoy it, to do whatever you want, whenever you want, because you already have the wealth is a frequency. Wealth means that you have an abundance of time and financial freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, when you have an asset base that generates the level of income, and also that you liberate yourself from that well-oiled machine so that you have all the time in the world to do whatever you want and be wherever in the world that you want. So that is the frequency of wealth. I think even as I talk about it in this video, you can really feel what I'm talking about. And so that's the frequency that I'm talking about. And you can really tap into that just by me talking about it right now. And the next one is, so the next self-concept shift is that I act like a match for the room before I enter it. Okay, so obviously you have to know that no matter what ethnicity you are, no matter like what your height is, like all these things like that society kind of like creates all these like fake limiting beliefs, like just to like segregate people. Like, end of the day, human value, I've said this before, like it doesn't matter what your gender is, what your ethnicity is, human value is the same. Okay, and so when you remove all these limiting beliefs, thinking that you are below someone or you're above someone, but knowing that you're just as respected and you respect the people in the room, then you're an energetic match there, because people can sense when you don't feel like you're confident enough on that level. And that is all like your self-created limiting beliefs that you can easily just get rid of, because honestly, this is just like mass limiting beliefs that society kind of just created out of thin air that is absolutely incredulous. Okay, and also, you don't have to copy, you don't have to like try to be someone that you're not. You can just be comfortable by being yourself, because your self-concept is that you get paid for being you. So my self-concept is that I get paid for being me. I get paid for being me. I don't have to try to like act or behave like someone else, or try to dress like someone else, or try to like copy someone else's content, because that is not in my authentic energy. So authenticity has the highest vibration. And actually, authenticity has a higher vibration than love and gratitude. Like, a lot of people miss this on the vibrational frequency scale, but actually authenticity is the highest vibration. So when you do things that are aligned in your authentic energy, then it is going to attract you like massive wealth and abundance. And that's why I don't really care about people who are copying my content, because I know that that is not that's not their authentic energy, and they won't be able to generate the same amount of income because they don't hold the self-concept that I have. They're just copying words. And that is also why I don't bother to go and copy the way someone dresses, or I don't go copy people's YouTube content, because that's their authentic energy, right? And so when you have the individuality and you really stick to that individuality and you're confident in that individuality, then you are going to take aligned action, even like by the way you dress, even like the way that I channel like my YouTube script right now, like not even a script, but like what I'm talking about is all channeled from my authentic energy from the quantum field, right? I'm not out there copying someone's YouTube script. So back to my point is that when you actually stay aligned in your authentic energy and you don't step out of that by copying someone else, be it dressing figuratively or literally, when you are actually stepping into your authentic energy, then that is really, really powerful, because everything's going to come very naturally, and all the circumstances and the right people and time will all collapse. Time and space, it will bring all the right people and the circumstances to you. So don't try to copy and don't try to act someone else that you're not, and just be yourself. And also, the next one that I want to talk about is, let me see. Okay, so actually, I think that's all for this video. Okay, so yeah, so that's my last point. If you want to dive deeper, it's going to be in my course, the Ultra High Net Worth Dealmaker. There are 3 tiers to the course. The first one is the light version, which is all self-guided. It's lifetime access. You get it, and then you just like do it at your own pace. And if you have a buy or sell request and you want to match it with my network, you're welcome to send it in. The second tier, so the first tier, the light version is $997 right now. It's on promo for the first 7 spots. And then the mid tier it includes group coaching. So it includes like monthly group calls and Telegram access. And also, well, obviously you'll get a higher priority compared to the light tier in terms of like your seller contacts or your buyer requests to deal match. And then the final VIP tier is like one-on-one with me. So obviously you get to be introduced to all my ultra high net worth deal partners all over the world. And you get priority access to my deal flow. You get priority access to all my buy requests. You get priority access to all my supply of all my off-market opportunities for every single asset class, be it cars, art, whiskey, sports teams, just like the entire array that's on my landing page. And that's not all exhaustive, because every day there's a new asset class, right? Like even like database centers. I'm just doing a deal on that in Texas. So yeah, so that is for the VIP, and you get unlimited WhatsApp access to me. And also you'll also be looked into like almost most of my deal calls, so that because I want that person to really like experience what it's like to close a deal from the start to the end. So yep, that would be so the mid tier is actually $1997 for the first 7 spots. And then the last tier is about, I think it's $39997. So that would be 3 months direct access to me. And okay, so we have come to the end of this video. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. I also know that there are a lot of well-respected people who are watching this video because I got invited to a podcast. So honestly, I'm pretty detached from the number of views or the number of subscribers, because I go for quality. And if I have quantity, great, but then I also want to go I go more for depth and more on the quality of people of my audience that are watching my content. So I know that a lot of people who have watched my videos, like my previous videos, they actually asked me on Zoom calls, they've asked me on WhatsApp calls, some more questions, follow-up questions that gave me ideas on what else to put on YouTube as well as inside the course, because I really want to know all your questions, because sometimes what I feel is very normal for me, I realize that I need to actually explain it to people. So write down your questions in the comment section below, because that will help me give me an idea on what I take for granted that people actually know, so that I can further explain it in my course, or I can further explain it in the next YouTube video. And that's all for today. And also, keep a watch out for my podcast, because that will be released very soon. The one that I got invited to a podcast in Switzerland. So keep a lookout for that. And also, I have so much more to release globally. So I hope you are excited for that and stay tuned for that. And I'll see you in the next video.